Good evening. This is the last 2024 meeting of the Physical Services Committee. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Legislator Castellano,
Present.
Legislator Crowley, and Chairman Elner.
Here. Hello. Okay. Move to accept the minutes of the October 16th meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Next is a budgetary amendment regarding recoveries of guardrail damages. Thank you, Matt Bruno, our risk manager. The amount is $5,317.16. No fiscal impact for 24 and 2025. I move that we approve and send this to the full. Do I have a second?
It goes to audit, I believe.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Goes to audit.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Next, we have Chris Brusman from DPW, who's going to tell us about the proposed park fee schedule.
Chris?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Thank you for inviting me. So, just a little history on this. The Park Advisory Board, since prior to COVID, we really didn't meet much after COVID, right up until this year again, had been kicking around and working on trying to set a park fee schedule that was more in line with what we had seen in other counties and parks, bar Westchester. We kind of don't go that way because of the cost of stuff down there, but moving up into Orange, Dutchess, Ulster. And we did a lot of homework and research on this. That one of our first missions when we reconvened this year was to try to finally get this locked up and set to something that looked more comparable. And not that we're trying to make a ton of money off of people coming to the park, but we were being told by people coming to the park that this is ridiculously lower than every place else they go. And we knew that. We knew that for a long time. So we sat down and kind of put some proposals together. In our first committee meeting, we went line by line by line. We have a lot of new members on our Park Advisory Board. We tried to explain what each thing meant and what it was. Most of these are a version of what we currently are charging for. Some of them are exactly the same. Some of them have a slight increase. Some of them we never were really good at deciphering the size of the event. And to give you an example, if the Elner family reunion came to the park and they had 40 or 50 people there, they would pay the same amount as a group that came to the park and had 2,000 people there. There was no differentiation from that. So we really worked at trying to set a scaled fee schedule that would help us better capture the work and time that the county had to put into it and the resources that the county had to put into it, whether it was cleaning the restrooms or supplying garbage cans and garbage bags, or in more recent years with some of the events we're having, we're starting to get more requests for things that the county does supply that we've never charged for before, and you'll see that with the light towers. The stage has become a popular thing that we have to move in and out for different events. And the maintenance fee we always had, it was $25 an hour that we were charging. We bumped that up because it really wasn't covering the cost of our labor. So I think it's pretty straightforward. I can tell you the things that don't change is the community garden at Tilly Foster. We did no increase on that whatsoever. And the annual permits are still $40. That was probably one of the more recent changes in the years, was going from, believe it or not, $15 up to $40. So that was a big jump a few years back. Veterans are still free. At your last full meeting, you approved the senior first responder county employee. We had senior was there, but first responder county employee 50% discount from the annual permit went in. So that was a change that we actually added to this after we heard that was coming through. I mean, that's basically it. We're trying to make sure that the families, not-for-profits, and clubs that aren't big ticket things are still reasonably priced.
Sounds good.
And that the anything with a lot more people gets charged a little bit more. So, do you have any questions for me?
I don't have any questions. Joe, do you?
Well, I was just a little confused. If a person just walked into the park and just drove their car in there and just wanted to hang out there for the day,
So,
what would the cost
okay,
be?
and that's a good question, and sometimes a little bit confusing. First of all, if you want to walk into the park, there is no fee. We don't charge for walk-ins bicycle. It's always parking fees if you're just coming in to use the playground or something like that, by car. So right now, we charge, currently in 2024, we charge $8 per car for a day pass. It's been a little bit troubling for us to have $8 because it causes us to make a lot of change.
So you moved it to 10.
We had went from 5 to 8 quite a few years ago now. Now we're saying, let's just go to 10. We're not going backwards to 5. Let's go to 10. It'll make the change a lot easier. Or you can come in and buy an annual permit, which is a sticker that goes on your car, and you can come in
As many times.
as many times as you want. And you can buy a second one for a lower price to go on a second car if you like. That's your annual permit or second annual permit. Or third or fourth or fifth. They're all going to be considered a
So
second.
$40 means you get 4 trips to the park, and anything over, it's free, basically.
Exactly. You're paying for your annual permit. If you were going to buy the day pass, if you came over 4 times, it would pay to get the annual permit.
And a county employee going there without a permit, do they pay $5?
No, the county employee permits are $20 for the sticker. There is no discount for anything other than the annual sticker.
Okay.
So the day passes aren't discounted. And the reason being is, if you come into the park, you'll see we have a little gatehouse down by the road. That's run by seasonal employees. We have to keep it very simple. There's a lot of, the lifeguards are rotating through there. The annual permits, you can come up to you get sent up to the office to fill your paperwork out and buy it. So somebody can figure the discount out and everything down there. Down at the gatehouse, it's gotta be $10, $10, just to keep it, the flow going and keep it smooth.
Got it, thank you.
Any Legislator Montgomery?
Yeah, to that question, I understand that the seasonal employees, you know, not needing to do anything different than the one-time daily pass, but with the, you know, down the line, every other permit, would you consider, which I imagine go through the office as well, like, you know, the Whipple Chapel rental and the pavilion rental and the vendor permits all go through the office, would you
Correct.
consider a discount for seniors and first responders? I mean, and Putnam County employees, but more importantly, priority would be for seniors and first responders. You know, why not?
Well, I mean, you're asking me as an employee, I'm bringing this as an advisory board, so anything could be considered
Sure.
through the advisory board.
Yeah, if you would,
If it was recommended to them.
I mean, if the committee would suggest that the advisory board consider giving a discounted fee for first responders and seniors for not only just the annual permit, but for everything like group permit, the chapel rental, the pavilion rental, the campers add-ons, and the wedding bundle, you know, to consider a discount for that. That's,
I think it's a good idea.
But I'm sure they've already considered it as well. I mean, I think that's what the advisory board does. They don't need us to tell them that. I mean, this is what they came up with.
well, so then I'm asking them to consider that.
I understand.
And that's a fair request. That could be drafted and sent to the
And have
advisory
they
board for the
considered
next.
it? I mean,
No, and in all honesty, they haven't. The county executive asked them to consider the discount that we passed at the last meeting. The advisory board is more in the, they're looking to advise on what you guys are recommending, either be the legislature or the county executive.
sure.
Certainly, they will be, if they see something, they would bring it up to try to spur that. But it would typically be like a letter or something requesting the advisory board to review it and put a recommendation in. It doesn't have to be taken, it's just an advisory board.
Sure, and it could, again, you know,
Or they may see an issue with it and they'll advise back and it doesn't have to be taken either. You know, it's an
right, and we
advisory
could say, well, we want it in.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
So
Yes.
we've not taken lots of advisory boards considerations, obviously, we're gonna talk about that tonight.
Okay, so,
So one thing I do want to emphasize is that we were really hoping that this, we've been holding back taking reservations for the last couple of months of 2024, waiting on this, and being honest with people, saying, you know, we're trying to put something, the advisory board recommended something to go through legislature. So we're hoping that, you know, in your January meeting, we can get this passed and we can start, you know, taking reservations. We kind of got a list of people we got to call if that gets passed and say, okay, we're ready to go.
can you get back to us with the recommendation before the final meeting? I mean, can we get this? 'Cause
We won't meet again until March at this point.
Just adopt it and then revise it again in
Yeah,
March.
and we can come in,
We could do that, or we could now say give so all the fees, et cetera, work, give a 10% discount or a 15% discount.
Well, I think the percentage discounts are gonna be problematic for the employees over there, the seasonal employees. But again, I think these prices are very, very fair. I mean,
Yes.
from what I'm used to. I
we're
think
on the
this is
low
fantastic.
end of most counties
Yeah,
and
and
stuff
I'm
around. And
so
town-
glad to see a discount for Putnam County employees, seniors, first responders. I think that's awesome. $20, you get an annual pass. You go in there as many times as you like.
Just so I can plug the park, I got one new add-on here, that's something new this year. You are all aware that the Guardrail Revival has put the dog park up in the park. Already, since it's been there, we weren't really set up for charging for the dog park, so we made it a requirement that you have to buy your annual permit, number one. Everybody coming to the park has to register and buy their annual permit. But the dog park add-on will be an additional, and we looked at what they were charging at other dog parks. We think we're being really fair with that add-on. I mean, there is a lot of work involved with maintaining a dog park with the bags and cleaning up and everything else up there.
So in order to use that, it's $40 for the regular citizen.
Correct.
And then $25 every time they access it?
No, it'll be $40 for your annual permit, and then you'll buy an annual dog permit add-on for the dog park access will be an additional $25.
So
Unless you're-
$65 for the year.
Unless you're a senior, first responder, or county employee, then it would be 20 plus the 25, that would be 45. for
Gotcha.
you.
Okay.
That's very fair.
So I guess,
Can I ask a question regarding the dog park issue? It's a, I know it's a, I'm not sure who's doing the administration.
We are,
for it,
the
and
park
it's
offices.
A lot, do you guys require vaccination records?
Yes.
And that's a lot of administrative work.
It
to do.
is. Luckily, we're not reinventing the wheel here.
Yeah.
We were able to poll, I'm gonna say 4 or 5 different dog parks, communicate with them, look at their process, look what they're requiring, look at their application, look at their release and indemnity agreements and their, the stuff they have to provide. And work with risk and law to say, this is our version of what we find to be the best of everything, and they've agreed that they're good with it.
Great, so dog license is required.
License, vaccination, rabies, residency, not necessarily, because you can buy a non-resident permit for $85, and then you'd be able to put a dog park onto it. But the same process is there, just the fee would change if you were not a resident.
Yeah,
We're excited about it. So it's really going to be implemented going into this year. Guardian has said that they want to have a really grand kickoff. I believe they said March or April. They'll be in touch with you guys about that.
so I would like to make a motion to pass that, to move this along to the full, with the proviso that you're gonna go back to the advisory committee and take Legislator Montgomery's excellent suggestion. The only thing that I would ask is that we change the wording a little bit better for overnight camping, because that's not really camping. The intention is that if people are there for multiple days, they're gonna be able to keep their tent or their RV on premises.
For a specific
for a
event that they're
specific
staying
event.
there for. That's a
Yes.
good point, and I'm glad you brought that up, so the public understands we are not a public campground. We just allow overnight stay for people that are having multiple day events, where they're.
You don't have to take your tent down.
Right,
and-
no.
And that
So
type
they're
of
like a vendor at the event and they're spending.
Correct. If you were a vendor and you're there for 3 days, but you don't really want to leave your stuff and you're going to spend the night there, well then,
family reunion who's got a big tent rented and they want to keep it for a couple of days.
not necessarily. It's overnight visit. If it's just setting a tent up like a rental tent, we don't charge an overnight for that.
Okay.
But if it is somebody physically staying on the premises that's using the facilities and plugging into the electric overnight, there is a fee for it.
Okay, so I.
And we're not promoting trying to get public camping in the park, because that's a whole different,
Gotcha. So,
it's a whole different risk and everything else involved in
okay,
that.
so I'd like to move that we push this to the full, and we're just gonna change the verbiage.
But We'll
The
come up with better
description
wording
with
so it doesn't say
camping.
camping, it'll say
Correct. Okay.
overnight event stay or
So
something.
you'll send that to us?
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow
Okay,
morning, because I
okay.
can't let this slip. We got people begging to
Gotcha.
come in for
Do you,
this.
do I have a second?
I'll second it. This is going to the full on Thursday,
Yeah,
so it'll be on the full on Thursday,
Thursday in December.
year end,
December 19th, year end.
year end.
Oh, you guys just made me really happy. I thought it wasn't gonna hit till January.
No, we're gonna get this done.
You'll have this here tomorrow.
Or we can
Okay.
change our mind.
No, no.
Okay, so I have a
That really makes me
second.
happy.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Chris.
thanks, Chris.
Awesome, thank you, Nancy, excellent suggestion there. Okay, the next item on the agenda, we also have someone from DPW. We have an additional here. I move to accept the additional, item number 6.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Does Legislator Montgomery have a copy of the additional?
Did I give it to you?
I don't think
Sorry.
so. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Tolman from DPW.
Good evening.
You're up. Good evening, and thank you for
Hi, Neil.
coming.
Nancy. So, yeah, thanks for calling me in, and thanks for, actually, Aaron, or Legislator Crowley, Rob, and Commissioner Barosa were big help putting this together, and they're not here, so I want to,
Yeah, this is at the suggestion of Legislator Crowley.
right, so they were helpful putting this together. So this resolution that we're looking to pass is to put some, try and flesh out the seeker process for the ag district inclusion, where, we felt that there was more information that we needed to move the seeker process along. And you'll see that reflected in this resolution, namely the requirement for when the applicants make a submission to be in the ag district, we have a few things that we need. And namely, we need some sort of site plan, a stormwater protection plan, and a soil survey for each of the parcels that they're including, or that they would like to have considered for inclusion in the ag district. And so now the full is on Thursday. Okay, so we have to add a couple. Since this went to Rob, and I've had a chance to talk again with Barb Barosa, or Commissioner Barosa, we think we're going to try and add that one of the an additional requirement would be a letter from the town code enforcement officer stating that the parcel has no outstanding violations, code violations, and that all current uses of the parcel have been approved by the town. So I feel like last time we went around, we got into sort of some unresolved issues with the town. I think I think that was a good idea to try and avoid that. Excuse me. And then also we had another suggestion that there'd be some kind of way for, this came up with the last round too, some sort of way to verify that an abutters list, some sort of notification had gone out to the abutters of the property seeking inclusion, so that they would have fair notice that this was something that was pending. So those were in addition to the resolution. Then by Thursday, we're going to try and I'll try to rough it in for Rob, and then Rob can have the final sign off. But we're
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically on the second resolved clause, you'd like to add something that a certified or registered, return receipt letter is sent to all neighbors bordering the property that they're applying to be in the ag district and what their intended use is.
right,
And
which is a similar, this is pretty much the same way you would do it if we had a county planning board, which we don't. And this is something that would take place with the local planning board. Is something, some sort of notice that so that we don't.
So no one's blindsided, everybody knows what's going on.
Right, everybody knows
transparent.
what's up, what they're trying to do.
Okay.
So that was so we have the one resolution, then we have sort of 3 amendments that we're gonna put on there. I'll make sure Rob gets it by
Okay.
tomorrow, so he has a chance to look it over for Thursday.
Okay, any comments from the committee?
Oh, yeah, no, I think that's an excellent idea. Like, I was on the zoning board for 8 years, so I know, even on my property, if I wanted to extend my deck by 1 foot, I have to notify all my neighbors by certified mail, and I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, I know it's you have to put the neighbors on notice. I think that's very important, and I love the idea of putting the town on notice, so there's part of the process as well, so that'll solve a lot of problems.
Okay. Any comments from the legislators? Yes, Legislator Bucko.
Yeah, was this presented to the advisory committee?
No, it wasn't.
And
This was county staff and Legislator Crowley and Rob Fiorillo.
I just think that's unfortunate that it wasn't presented to the advisory committee, who's been working really hard for years. There's a reason why we have an agricultural advisory committee, and it's for this very purpose. And they know a heck of a lot more about farming than you or I or anybody on this committee. So I think it's a real disservice to the people that have been volunteering. And also my other question is, did we get a comment from the state about these issues?
If I may, okay, there's been a lot of back and forth, and I've been dealing with the law department for a while here. The Ag Board's function is to review applications, period. They are not the set policy. That's a county function. Just like the whole ag district is because the county has elected to put, I'm going to use the term legislation, code, and law as all encompassing to create an ag district under these criteria. So if criteria is being set, it comes from the county. And now I see that's why you, through DPW, you guys met as staff.
Well,
But
the staff involved is myself, Commissioner Barosa, Patricia McLaughlin,
okay.
and then Legislator Crowley.
So by enacting something like this, which the Putnam County Legislature, I'm confident, will do on Thursday, when we don't even have a final copy going through committee, because it's obvious you're going to push this through on Thursday. What you're doing in essence is diminishing the whole purpose
No,
of an agricultural
No,
district.
that's
And
what
the
I'm
whole
trying-
reason, let me finish, the whole reason why New York State established agricultural districts was to protect farmers from local laws restricting farming. Properties in agricultural districts receive partial real property relief from these restrictions. That's the very purpose why New York State Legislature established these districts. It's to support local economies. Farming is especially important to the economies of New York State's rural areas, and Putnam County has a long history of farming. You're crippling farmers in New York State
I
and in
respect.
Putnam
I
County.
respectfully disagree because
We'll talk to some farmers.
the whole purpose is to protect existing farms. And where we've been having these problems, like last time, is, oh, I didn't know about this, because the county's got a whole set of requirements which have to go to the state. And this is basically, from what I've been told, to clean up, so we have all our ducks in a row when we go to the state and we say, this is who we want to be included. So we're just saying, this is information that needs to come in with the application.
We need to document the secret review.
This is information that New York State tried to eliminate for farmers, not only to protect farmers and existing farms. Do you understand that the purpose of agricultural districts is to encourage farming?
I disagree with you.
Okay.
It's to protect existing farms from unreasonable laws put on by towns.
Okay, it's to encourage farming as well.
Well, let's just
So look
agree
at
to
the
disagree.
history of
I
the
did.
1971 Act that established this.
Any other questions or comments? So I'd like to approve this in concept and move it to the full. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any other business?
No.
Being that there's no other business, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.